My name is Zoe Clark. I'm Senior Self-Management Programme Officer here at NASS. I'm also an allied health professional and have Axial SpA myself. And tonight I'm delighted to be joined by Jamie Boder. Hi Jamie, how are you?
Hey Zoe, I'm good, thanks, and lovely to be here, and hello to everybody watching.
Brilliant, thanks so much for joining us again. I imagine most people joining us will have seen you in some of our sessions before and some of our posts leading up to the sessions as well. But for anyone who doesn't know about the work you do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I, like Zoe, live with Axial SpA, and I'm the co-founder of Yoga for AS. So I'm also a yoga teacher and a personal trainer. We've spent years working with people living with Axial SpA to develop safe yoga and also other forms of exercise which is appropriate for their condition. We understand there's a whole spectrum of presentations of AS, so it has to be personalized as much as possible to make it really helpful. And people are afraid of movement quite often with this condition because they've gone to a yoga class or they've gone to a fitness class and they've gone into a flare. So a real importance that we emphasize is making sure that we're safe and making sure that we're meeting things wherever that person is at. So it's never pushing into, an unsafe practice. So that's what we do.
That's brilliant, and you guys do it really well as well. So thank you for giving up some time this evening to join us and to run a stretch session. For everyone who's joining us, so Jamie's going to be leading a short stretch session, and then after that we're going to have a bit of a chat about stretching and Stretchtember, which you may have heard about, that's coming up throughout the month of September. The recording will stay on our Facebook page, so you can come back and do the stretch anytime. So a nice one to unwind at the end of the day or loosen up at the start of the day. And throughout the session, please do pop any questions you've got for Jamie in the comments or any questions about Stretchtember as well, and we'll be able to answer those towards the end of the session. So if you're good to go, Jamie, I can hand over to you.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to be a very simple session. We're going to focus on 4 movements, which are the 4 movements of the spine. Of course, with Axial SpA, there are other areas that people may experience symptoms. And in what we do offer a lot of further practice for those other areas. But for today, we are going to focus just on the spine. And I'll provide lots of different options for you to choose from. And hopefully that way, you're going to be able to get a taste of what we do and also find something that is going to be generally helpful for how you're feeling, where you're at today. I might throw a few more things in the mix as well. All right, so we're going to start with opening up the spine and coming into a bit of extension, so a bit of a bend in the spine. Now, again, this might be something that can feel vulnerable for people, especially if we're spending lots of time in this forward position and we're experiencing a lot of pain. So what we're going to do is go gently, and I'll provide, again, a spectrum of options. The first thing that we can do is come to the edge of a chair, press the hands into the thighs, drop the shoulders down and lift the chest up. And this will begin to stretch the chest and as well as build a bit of movement into that lower spine. If that's enough, you can stay there. If you'd like to go further, you can hold on to the side of the chair, or you can hold on to the backrest of the chair, which will be considerably more intense. And if at this point you're not feeling enough of a stretch, you do have the option to come up to stand, reach the arms up overhead as if you're holding onto a volleyball, only lift the head up to the point that's comfortable. So don't drop the neck back, keep the head in line with the rest of the torso, squeeze the buttocks, reach up, and then begin to reach back. Now you may just be here, 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 here. And wherever you are, make sure you're not holding the breath. And if you're down on a chair, feel free to take a rest at any point. Really important if you're standing to try and squeeze the glutes or the buttocks to give us a sensation of more space in that lower spine. Good. And very slowly come out and release that. Okay. So we've done some extension. We're going to move into some flexion. So from a backward bend to a forward bend. And there's going to be a bunch of different options that we'll go through. The first is sitting on a chair, taking our forearms onto the thighs, keeping the chest quite upright. And if this is enough of a stretch into the back, you can stay here, or you can begin to reach the hands forward. And if that's enough, you can stay there, or you can reach the hands further out in front of you. And if at this point you're not feeling enough of a stretch, you can come up to stand, have a chair available, bend the knees generously, take the hands onto the chair, seat of the chair or the backrest, and keep the weight in the center of your feet. Bend the knees and allow the crown of the head to relax down. You might take your hands further down and even further down still, depending on your range of motion and what's available for you today. Try to really focus on slowing your breathing down, not forcing your breath. Allow the muscles in the face to relax. So again, if you're seated at this point, you might want to take a break, and that goes for the whole session. You can take rests at any point that you need. This is going to be a bit of decompression for the spine, as well as the stretch of the hamstrings if we're standing. Good, and very slowly bend the knees. If you're standing, don't rush up, come halfway up, and then slowly come all the way up. And if you're seated, again, take your time to come up. Good. Okay, so the next movement we're going to work through is some side flexion or side bending. So for this, again, there's some options we can work with. First option is to be seated. Take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and take the right hand onto the right shoulder and begin to slowly drop to the left. Now, what we want to be mindful of is the head isn't moving away from the line of the torso, meaning we're not dropping that left ear down. We're actually moving the whole of from the torso to the head as one unit. And if this is enough, you can stay here, or you can reach the right arm up and overhead and connect that right ear towards the right arm as if you're trying to hold a telephone to your right ear. And breathe into this position. This is going to be stretching the side of the body, the muscles between the ribs, called the intercostal muscles, but also we're getting some side bending, side movement into the spine, which is super helpful. And if this is enough, you can stay here, or you can reach up overhead and repeat the same movement standing. Be mindful not to twist the hips or the shoulders. And at this point, especially if you're having the arm straight, you may need to just take the hand back onto the shoulder. And whenever you're ready, release. Shake the shoulders out. If you're standing, stay as you are. If you're seated, switch sides, and then right hand to the outside of the left leg, left arm over, or holding onto that left shoulder. Again, really emphasizing that we're not dropping the head down. That's going to help to protect our neck. Try and avoid holding the breath here as well. So this movement is also stretching a muscle called the QL muscle, which is on the side of the back. And quite often, if we're experiencing tightness in the lower back, the QL muscle is underappreciated for how important it can be to open up, get stronger, and stretch. Very good. Whenever you're ready, release. Shake out the shoulders once again. So we've worked through 3 movements of the spine. There's one more that we're going to focus on, which is going to be rotation. So if we're staying on a chair, then what we can do is rotate clockwise, 90 degrees. Right hip in line with the backrest of the chair. If you have a chair with handles on the side, just turn as much as you comfortably can. And instead of taking your hands to the backrest, you can take your hands onto the handle or onto the backrest if that's available. Press the feet into the floor. Don't use the hands to twist, but have them there for support. Imagine you're really lengthening the spine and you're slightly drawing the chin in, and then begin to turn to one side. Don't push and force with the hands, just rotate to the point that's comfortable. And if you're standing, you can do the same, but instead have the hands in front of you, slide the right hand across the left arm, across the chest, draw the right elbow back as if you're drawing a bow and arrow. And then if you want to go further, you can reach that right arm back and begin to turn the head to the point that's comfortable. Nice, very slowly release, and we'll switch sides. So if we're using the chair, we turn to be anti-clockwise. If we're standing, we reach the arms up and we slide that left arm back, across the right, across the chest, draw the left elbow back, and if that's enough, you can stay there, or you can extend that left arm and begin to turn the head if that's comfortable. Or we repeat what we were doing seated, but on the other side. So not pushing with the arms. You can even see what happens if you take the hands off the backrest. That will show you the emphasis on building that rotation into the spine and the trunk, rather than using the strength of our hands to try and push us into the stretch. Deep breathing wherever you are. And then very slowly release. Come back to center. Shake it out, shake out the shoulders, shake out the hands. Just going to finish up with one more stretch, which will stretch the hamstrings and the midsection of the spine as well. A very simple one. Take the heel of the hands, so the bottom section of the palm, onto a backrest of a chair or a tabletop, or you could hold on to the chair if that's more comfortable. Walk the feet back 2 to 3 feet, bend the knees generously. You can start high up and very slowly work your way further down, dropping the chest further down, keeping the ears between the upper arms, bending the knees as much as you need, and think about really sinking the hips down and especially the chest down. This will stretch out the shoulders. It will stretch out the upper back muscles as well as the midsection of the spine. Try to keep some slow and steady breathing here as well. Good. And whenever you're ready, slowly come up, shake it out a little, and just take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time out of your day to stretch and move, and important to acknowledge yourself for doing so. So thanks so much for joining me for that demonstration. Hopefully you may have joined in, or you watched, and at a future point, you may want to go back to this little short but very simple sequence. Of course, this is just a taste, and we offer a whole different array of ways to move. This was just an example of kind of static stretching. There's lots of other ways to stretch, lots of other techniques that we can utilize, as well as strength training that we can bring into our sessions as well. So thanks so much, and nice to have you back, Zoe.
Yeah, that was a fantastic routine. Definitely one that I could see would be really helpful to incorporate each day, kind of in between, especially as I work at a desk, kind of in between meetings and things. Lovely way to kind of decompress and undo all of that sitting. So that's perfect. Thank you. And I'm sure everyone watching have found it helpful. So do let us know in the comments how you feel after that. Even if you're watching on catch up, do let us know. It'd be great to hear if you felt the benefits from it too. I'm not sure if I've frozen. I think I have. So I'll just wait a second. Did I freeze there? Sorry about that.
You did, but you're back.
Perfect. I'll keep my fingers crossed for our chat then, and hopefully I won't leave you hanging. Brilliant. So, yep, I'm back again. Great. So yeah, it would be really helpful as well to slightly hijack the stretch session and talk a little bit about Stretchtember that's coming up, because you're really involved in that as part of Yoga for AS. So it'd be lovely to kind of let everyone know what it involves and how they can get involved as well. So did you want to tell people kind of what Stretchtember is, just generally what it involves?
Absolutely. So Stretchtember is a fundraising campaign that NASS is running, where you're committing to stretching more in September. That doesn't mean stretching every day or doing 2 hours every day. It just means having the intention to stretch more in September, and in the process raise money for NASS and contribute to all of the important work that NASS does. So we're collaborating with NASS in order to provide resources during that time. So by signing up to Stretchtember and fundraising, you're going to get access to 4 live classes with us during that month, which is free, and you can access 4 in total, and you can sign up for whichever ones you like. We run 4 classes each week, and they have a variety of different styles. One is focused on strength training and flexibility training. One is focused on really deep, slow relaxation, really good one for fatigue. Another one is a really gentle and simple introduction to what we do. And the other one is a little bit more intense for those who want to explore some deeper stretching and deeper yoga practice, which is, again, gives you that whole spectrum to work with depending on how you're feeling. You'll also get access to 12 pre-recorded video classes for you to try at any time. And that, again, has a whole spectrum. So you can do that just seated from a chair all the way up to some quite intense classes. So again, that spectrum depending on what's going to be most appropriate for you on that day, but also in general. So that's what you kind of get during that month, as well as our ongoing support. We have a Facebook community that you can join in order to check in with others. And there's going to be a continued opportunity to really learn how to stretch in a way that's safe and appropriate for you. And that's really why we're excited to work with NASS during this month to get people on the trajectory where they're able to actually enjoy stretching, enjoy movement in a way that isn't going to cause flares or make things worse. So it's not going from maybe very little stretching to really aggressive. It's actually giving everyone a big variety of choice to enjoy and connect with others and be in a community, especially during those live classes.
That's brilliant, thank you. And I can remember sort of back when I was first diagnosed, and I speak to people in similar situations all the time where you just feel a bit overwhelmed to begin with. You don't really know where to get started. Everything seems like it sets off a flare. So it's a really nice way for those people to kind of dip their toe into it and find something that works for them, as well as then people who do quite a lot of stretching and a lot of movement, they can make it more advanced as well. It's really nice that it's flexible for everyone. No pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely. And this fundraiser is open to everyone as well. And as far as I'm aware, so it's people outside of the UK as well can sign up and join. We have a lot of friends from other countries, and it's great to be able to bring people in for that as well, which is lovely.
Absolutely. And if you're happy, I can tell people a little bit about sort of the fundraising process, how to sign up, that sort of thing. So yeah, we've got a web page which I've shared in the video comments as well. So you can head over to there where you can register your interest, and you'll essentially get a welcome email from Yoga for AS where you can then sign up, and you can then access the Facebook group as well. And then you can, from the email, also create a Just Giving page if you'd like to fundraise. There's no sort of minimum amount that you need to fundraise at all. But we do say if you donate or raise £20, you'll receive either a NASS t-shirt or a dog bandana. And the dog bandanas especially are lovely to see across social media as well. Lovely to see dogs and cats getting involved too. And we do also have a sponsor form as well if you wanted to collect any cash donations too. So do get in contact with us if you'd like to do that. And I think it'd be good as well if you want to, you're really offering an amazing offer for people after Stretchtember as well. Did you want to explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So after Stretchtember is finished, we're offering a really heavily discounted rate for the next month preceding to, again, explore all of what we do. And that's something to hopefully really take advantage of, because after that month, after really being immersed in different ways to stretch and make it work for you and your AS, hopefully it will provide that drive to continue, because you know, rheumatologists and physios will always remind us how important it is to keep moving, but sometimes it can be frustrating because we'll try and move and it causes a flare or it makes things worse causes an injury, and we're really focused on like, let's find something that's working and can help us keep moving in the long term. So it's also, as well as Stretch Timber, it's an opportunity to begin a new journey and a new relationship with movement, and start to hopefully enjoy the practice and be part of a community, because that's what we love emphasizing at Yoga for AS. We have people from all over the world that come together and become friends, and that's really lovely, especially with a condition that can be quite lonely. So yeah.
Absolutely. So many people I speak to have never spoken to or met anyone else with the condition. So it's so nice to kind of jump straight into that community, be able to ask questions and get support from each other as well. It's so valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, after that month, there's also lots of other ways to get involved with what we do. And we have a whole page of free resources and blogs that we put out quite regularly as well. And yeah, definitely tap into that as well. So yeah, I don't know if there's any other things you want to cover about Stretch Timber, Zoe, or anything in general you want to discuss, or maybe there might be some questions from people.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything that I was thinking about in terms of introducing Stretch Timber to everyone. We have had some lovely comments in from Anya and Julie, who really enjoyed that stretch session, so thank you. I definitely recommend going into the comments and reading them afterwards, because they're really lovely. Sound like they were very needed and very welcome. So yeah, sounds like they'll be coming back to the video again, which will be lovely.
Good, that's great to hear.
Brilliant. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and thanks again, Jamie. That was a fantastic session. And I've tagged you in the video description as well, you guys over at Yoga for AS, so people can get in contact with you directly through there. And I'll also let everyone know our next session is going to be on Thursday, the 31st of August at 6 p.m. And I'm going to be chatting about how you can fit exercise and activity into your day around working life. So whether you work at a desk, in an office, you've got a very physically demanding job, or you have a long time in the car or driving, hopefully there'll be something for everyone in that session. So do come along and we'll chat about how you can kind of fit movement into your day, which is well timed for Stretch Timber as well, because we're always told to keep moving, but sometimes it's hard to actually fit it in. So yeah, hopefully see you all at that next session, and thank you everyone for getting involved. And I'll keep an eye on the comments over the next couple of weeks as well, Jamie, and pass on any questions to you, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if people are watching this video back and there's questions specifically about stretching and how to get started, because as I said, I demonstrated just one way to approach stretching. There's many ways, and there's different techniques that we can bring in that can be especially helpful. So definitely worth exploring, you know, finding ways to make stretching work for you. And that's what we do, and always open to questions if there's anything I can answer and help out with.
That's brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I've got your details in the video description, so please do head on over. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks again, Jamie, and looking forward to seeing everyone's Stretch Timber posts as well, and getting Axial SpA out there as well, raising awareness as well as funds. That'd be brilliant.
Absolutely.
Right, take care, Jamie, and I'll see you all next time.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks, everyone.